Hey, everybody, it's Maria Boynton. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Atlanta Up Close. Today, my guest is none other than our very own Poet Laureate, Hank Stewart. How are you?
And my friend Maria Boynton. How are you
Always.
doing?
I'm doing well, always and forever. Of course, you're a world-renowned poet, Hank Stewart, Emmy Award-winning, best-selling author. You, of course, are an activist, philanthropist, humanitarian, motivational speaker. I want to talk about that lanai too later. What do you do on there? And you're celebrating over 25 years as an artist. Your talent has afforded you a unique opportunity to recite your works to the mother of the civil rights movement, Mrs. Rosa Parks, to the former First Lady Michelle Obama. You have written and performed commercials for the McDonald's Corporation and WAGA Atlanta Black History Spots, which resulted in your attainment of the 2007, an Emmy in 2007, Promax and Gabby Awards. That's so awesome. Co-founder with Gwen Mason of the Stewart Foundation, and you're preparing for your 25th annual White Linen Affair on July 25th at the Atlanta Marriott Marquis. We're going to get to all of that.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, you do so well. You give us a lot, and I thank you for that. I saw you just the other day in Jonesboro, Georgia. There were plenty of Juneteenth celebrations around this country. I attended like 3 in the metro area. Saw you at the Jonesboro one on stage reciting a poem about Juneteenth. Can you give me a little bit of that?
1776. That year had nothing to do with me. Now, some people celebrate, but my ancestors didn't come over here on a business trip on vacation, waving from the deck of the ship, drinking champagne or sipping tea. There were no welcome committees or homeowners associations to help us get acclimated to the neighborhood. No one dropping off a pie, offering a cup of sugar. No one saying if you need to borrow some money, just ask. It's all good. There were no classes to help translate the language. There were no directional signs written in our native tongue. Just a shotgun if we tried to run in those trees. All those trees. They served as a horrible reminder from which we were hung. 1776, for some of us, that's not where it all began. To be stripped of everything and to be told for taxation and apportionment only, you're only 3/5 of a man. Denied the opportunity to learn, beaten if caught trying to write or read. What did Dred Scott say? No rights in which a white man was bound to respect. That was their creed. 1776, it started long before that for some of us. Long before having to guess how many jelly beans in a jar, bubbles in a bar of soap, not being able to sit on the front of a bus. It started long before not being able to register and vote. It started in 1619. Simply put, stolen and put on a boat. We were stacked like coins on that ship, given minimum to eat, no clothing. Can you imagine that horrific ride over? I'm sure our ancestors who survived got very little, if any, sleep. We were taken from our native land. Our families were destroyed. Babies separated from their parents in 1619. Wait, was it 2019? 400 years later, don't you ignore. Don't ignore babies being put in cages, families being destroyed while today's master don't want to pay for health care or a livable wage. Okay, I digress. 1619, our ancestors, they were strong and they were brave. Some so brave they jumped from the ship knowing they couldn't swim, but they knew death was better than being a slave. And in spite of it all, our ancestors continued to thrive. In spite of being created by laws like the Emancipation Proclamation, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, and the Voters' Rights of 1965. In spite of needing Brown versus the Board of Education, our ancestors never lost their faith or their determination. So they built schools and colleges, became doctors, scientists, attorneys. And for us to be where we are today, we should all stand and applaud. But the real reason our ancestors survived, because they knew their God was God. I mean, if it wasn't for 1619, America wouldn't be a fraction of what it is today. We tore the land, handled the cattle, only to be treated like prey. Our great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmothers nursed their babies, only to be violated in the middle of the night. The next morning, she had to act as if nothing had even happened while preparing breakfast for Master, the kids, and his wife. I mean, if you're going to tell it, then please tell the whole story. Not just bombs bursting in there when we put our hands over our heart and we salute our glory. Talk about how we fought on front lines in wars, dying for this country, trying to defend, only to return to this country, even as veterans, our blackness was still considered a sin. Talk about we needed papers just to walk down the street, papers that said we were free, and we had to protect those papers with everything we had, even while we were asleep. Talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of American history, how you stole a whole country and a people And 400 years later, should we still fighting to be free? So what you help elect President Obama? For what you allow people, that's not even a drop of cold water in a hot bucket. I mean, what about Emmett Till, Black Wall Street, the bombing of the 4 little girls? And you think we should just throw our hands up and say, but I know you say it's been 400 years. Why don't we move on and let it just forget? But we remember everything else, 9/11, Holocaust, dead presidents. Yeah, I said it before. I take it back. I add more to it. You create laws and legislations. But you're consistently inconsistent because you turn around and you break your own rules. Well, we're coming to get what is rightfully ours with interest. And the way you treated us since 1619 is more than 40 acres and a mule.
Hank Stewart, everybody, world-renowned poet, our very own Poet Laureate. Beautiful.
Thank you.
What's the title?
1619.
Juneteenth. You know, I saw you in Jonesboro. I mean, I went to Stockbridge, Jonesboro, Forest Park, and of course, shouts out to all of the mayors who did all of that and think it not a crime to actually, you know, celebrate Juneteenth. You were there for the 3rd annual Juneteenth celebration in 2026 in Jonesboro. Goody Mob was there. I want to give a shout out to of course, Cujo Timo and Big Gip. I mean, the show was so tight.
It was.
Wonderful show. I said they need a residency somewhere. Please give it to Goody Mob. Now, it was a community event at Lee Street Park. We saw Bishop William Murphy was there, Casper and the 911 Band. You, of course, DJ Maurice was the DJ, Casual Cal, your Juneteenth poem. I need to know, I want to know, how do you write? I mean, do you get in the hot tub and you get this sensation? I mean, are you on your lanai or what? How do you write?
It varies, but let me back up just a minute. Let me thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. These important discussions. I mean, even if it's about the arts and how they work in our community. So thank you for always creating a platform
Anytime.
for me, Maria. I don't take that lightly. And shout out to Mayor of Jonesboro. She pulled me in on that.
Danya Sarter.
Danya, and then, you know, even the mayor, I mean, even the CEO of the cab, it was things going on. But for me, writing is just fun. It takes place. I mean, there have been times, Maria, I've had a conversation with Dr. C.T. Vivian or anybody, and one word that they say prompts an entire piece. I wrote a piece, and I think I did this one at the Juneteenth. It's called Those Trees. And Those Trees was written because I was sitting down in a conversation with Helen Butler, Rita Samuels, Jamada Orange, you know, and we were at the Marriott Marquis restaurant, and we were talking about Dr. C.T. Vivian. And Dr. Vivian, who was there in Florida protesting the verdict of Trayvon Martin with the SCLC. And so Jamada and John Taylor was taking them to get something to eat. And they were riding along in the car, and Jamada and John kept talking about how beautiful the trees were in Florida. Well, it must have irritated Dr. Vivian, and he says, those trees don't look that good to me. And that one statement prompted an entire piece of Those Trees. And so I'm so blessed because God has, I mean, I can't take any credit from this. I often say I'm the middle person between heaven and paper. And so the middleman can't get cocky because you can always delete it. You can see what's happening to middle people right now. We don't need to go to a brick and mortar anymore because we can order online or order directly from. So I don't get cocky about it. I know that my skill set, my craft is God blessed.
Well said. Well said. We recently, of course, attended the funeral for Peabo Bryson, singer, songwriter. Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms said that Peabo Bryson was the soundtrack of her childhood. I mean, you had former mayors Young, Franklin Campbell also speaking that day. What do you say about the loss of such an incredible singer-songwriter? Because I know music plays a big role in what you do.
And the lyrics, you know, that he wrote, they were timeless. I mean, you could listen to Peabo when we were children. I'm a little bit young. I'm not much younger than him, but you could listen to him and still listen to him now, and you still get the same because his lyrics are timeless. Right, and talking about love and just motivation, he just made you feel like, you know, basil lemonade on a summer afternoon. You know, he just had that it. He had that special je ne sais quoi that you wanted you know, and if you were trying to impress somebody, put some Peebo
I
on,
know.
or some Luther, you know, and James Ingram, you know, put some, you know, Layla Hathaway. He was in the rotation, you know, of everybody, and he's still in the rotation. That's the beauty of it. We lost him, but we didn't lose his music. His music is still very present.
Can you stop the rain
Can
from
you
falling?
stop the rain?
I mean, for days and days,
Yeah.
I would wake up and all that was going through my mind was Peebo singing that. He recently sang a song, Happy Birthday, to my girlfriend. We were out at one of his shows at the City Winery, and he actually took our request. You know, I sent it through somebody, and he sang Happy Birthday to my girlfriend. And I got to tell you, it's an incredible loss. It was a beautiful service, and I'm so glad that you're here to talk about it and
Yeah.
how Peebo Bryson was a wonderful and a special man here in Atlanta, and everyone talked about the great friendships they had with him and how they knew him.
And I was happy to see it was at my church, Antioch Baptist Church
Yeah,
North, and
yes.
Reverend Kenny Alexander, who is his father. Now, I mean, Kenny and you know, he's a dear friend of mine. I mean, just an amazing guy and doing great work. As a matter of fact, I know we're going to talk a little bit about White Linen, but I'm asking everybody to join me at church on the Sunday at Antioch, because for me, the 35 years that I'm getting ready to celebrate as a poet started at Antioch.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for his father, Reverend Cameron Madison Alexander,
Right.
who I often said he could have, you know, he fertilized my dream. He could have aborted, because when I first started writing, he was one of the first people that I went to and told him about this new gift that I had. And he said, all right, Hank, be ready. And he
Oh.
created a platform, and he ended up writing a letter for me stating, you know, at the time it was 1991, he said, look, any church that you go to, in, not just in the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, but around the world, I'm giving you, I'm approving, I'm stamping my approval on this young man. And it opened so many doors.
Look at you now.
It opened so many. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for Antioch and Cameron Madison. My parents, my family, and then Antioch. And so Kenny, Reverend Alexander, is doing the same thing. And so that's my way of giving back to my church, and I'm asking people to come and join me on that Sunday.
And when is that again?
July the 26th, but July the 25th is that big thing, man. We're honoring 3 amazing individuals. We're honoring the mayor with the Joseph Eccles Lowry Courageous Award. We're honoring Justine Boyd with the Zenona Clayton It Award, and your Sarah, who is my dear sister Janice Mathis,
Yes.
with the Ambassador Andrew Young Humanitarian Award. We have 2 great hosts, chairs, and that's
Yes, you do,
Mac
and we're going to
Wilburn.
get to
Okay,
that,
okay,
all of that,
okay.
when we return here on Atlanta Up Close. Poet Laureate Hank Stewart on the White Linen Affair and the Stewart Foundation's imprint on the Metro Atlanta community when Atlanta Up Close returns in a moment. Welcome back to Atlanta Up Close, everyone. Of course, my guest is Poet Laureate Hank Stewart. Oh, thank you for being here.
Oh no, look. Let me tell you, I was waiting on you. I actually stalked you. So you think that you invited
stalked
me, but
me?
I stalked you. I told my people to call. I got to get on Maria, so we got to hang out with her.
I got the message and I said, I need it now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing it for me. Hank Stewart believes everyone that serving others is imperative, and that's why he co-founded the Stewart Foundation with Gwen Mason. And talk about your youth leadership organization. How long ago?
We're getting ready to celebrate our 20th year. So this year, there's a lot of milestones that we're celebrating. The 35th year as a poet,
Right.
25th year for White Linen, 20th year for the foundation.
Wow.
And I have an honorable mention. This is my 10th. I'm approaching my 10th year without missing a workout day. So just all of those milestones are there. But Gwen and I started the Stewart Foundation because we saw it back in 2006. We saw where a lot of our seniors and our elders, like Reverend James Orange and
Right.
Terrell Slayton, you know, we saw them either transitioning or their steps getting slower. Dr. Lowry, you know, Dr. Vivian, Congressman John Lewis, Rita Samuels, you know, Willie Bolden, so many amazing, Tommy Dortch, so many amazing people who had done so much good for not only our city, state, but the world.
Right.
And so we wanted to start grooming young people to take that baton. We wanted them to be in place, and so we set them at their feet. And so for the last 20 years, we worked with over 41,000 children and families. So like when we were together a couple months ago for the career day, I mean, we went in and impacted that entire school, 1,400 students,
Right.
And so we've been doing career days for about 16, 17
I
years.
truly enjoy it
Yeah,
every
and
time.
you always come, and it's important for our young people to see someone of your status because it shows young men and young women I can do this. You and so many of the other guests that we have that come to White Linen. We've had Congress people and mayors and all it come, but that's the importance of showing our children, Michael Thurman, and that you can do this. You can be whatever you want. Your only limitation is you. And so
Exactly.
thank you for doing that for us.
But of course, let's talk about the White Linen Affair. It's going to be on July 25th at the Atlanta Marriott Marquis, 265 Peachtree Street. That address is etched in my mind because so much happens there. And of course, when we talk about the Hank Stewart or the Stewart Foundation, I mean, you do the White Linen Affair each and every year, and you're honoring so many people through the years. About how many people do you think you've honored through the years?
For over the last 25 years, we've honored at least probably close to about 75 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, close to about 75. And just we've been really fortunate, and it really is not something that they should be grateful for. It's our responsibility to bring and highlight. And then I asked Ms. Clayton and Ambassador Andrew Young and Dr. Lowry before he transitioned, can I name an award after you that would live long? And they all agreed. We didn't have any problems. But I got to say, we got two great chairs, Juanita Barranco and Mac Wilburn. I mean, you don't get any better. That's Atlanta right there. And so both of those have agreed to be chairs for the honorary chairs for the White Linen. And then we have two great working chairs, Gloria Brooks and Cecilia Houston Torrance. They are beating the doors down, raising funds so we can continue to do what we do. We do work in Guyana. We do work all across this, not on the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, but across the world. And so Guyanans would be here. We had kids to come in and they sat under our kids. We have a youth White Linen the week before the White Linen Affair.
Wow.
So our youth, we give them about a $5,000 to $10,000 budget, and they put their own White Linen. We got about 10 students that we see on a monthly basis that are graduating from high school, and so we give them everything they need, Maria, to go to college. A printer, a Foot Locker. Remember where everybody got the Foot Locker?
Yeah, I remember.
We Foot Locker full of everything that you need for your dorms, bedding, school supplies, lamps, clocks, and all of that to kick you off. And we give them a little change for books and things of that nature. So the Stewart Foundation, I'm really, really proud of our team. That team, Gwen and the entire team. I mean, when I tell you, my name bears the foundation, but they do the work.
Oh, wow.
They do the work, and we want to call last night to 10 o'clock. They take ownership, right? We have an amazing. I hope some of the people will plug into the White Linen Affair website, but we have an entire auction starting July 1st. So anywhere in the world you can take place in this auction. We do another auction where you can bid to have dinner at my house. And
I get to sit on the lanai?
Sit on the lanai. We cater. I mean, last year we did a 7-course meal, and you get to come in and I cook in front of you, and we perform. I perform in my artistry room and all that. So we've raised big time dollars, but the money goes to the foundation. It goes to the kids.
I just bumped into Mac Wilburn at Pasco's after Mr. Bryson's funeral the other day, and he is not slowing down. He is going to give his all to anything that you allow him to do, and he, of course, is one who
He's
is
special.
willing to help you
Mac
indeed.
is special.
Everyone, we're talking to Poet Laureate Hank Stewart, of course. You gave us the Juneteenth poem. Thank you for that.
No.
I think it awakened so many people who are listening, of course, and it makes you think, and it makes you remember and everything, and it helps you to look forward to what will be, what can be, what could be, perhaps. Hank Stewart, you and Gwen Mason, of course, are here with us in the community, and you give back so much. We talk about the White Linen Affair. If folks want more information on that, first and foremost, what should they do?
You can go to hankstewart.net or the whitelinenaffair.net, and you can pull that information up. We're on all social media platforms, and so it's easy to find us. And we're fortunate to be, I think, a sanctioned event in Atlanta, and it's been around for years. And that people, but I want to step back. You keep saying we're fortunate in what we give. I believe, and these are the words that I live by now. It's our time, it's our turn. If we don't do our part, it's our fault. And that's where we are. And I make it a little bit more personal. It's my time, it's my turn. And if I don't do my part, it's my fault. Too many people before us did it when it was their time. And so I don't have the right nor the luxury to sit back.
You have your career day recently. We were there together at Southwest DeKalb High School. The students were so wonderful. I mean, they asked the right questions. With each year, I don't know if it's a generational thing, but they ask the real questions. They're going to ask you, what you make? What do you make? They're going to ask you those kinds of questions, and then you're going to have people who are going to say to you, what do you want to be? I want to be a construction worker, because they've done their research and they know. Some know I don't have to go to college to make the kind of money that I want to make.
And we're getting ready to do this the next year. It's amazing that you would say that, because the next year we're going to actually have a more of a blue-collar piece to it as well, too, the vocational piece. And, IEB is coming in with us, bringing in all of those labor jobs and showing. So we're going to do a morning and an afternoon piece to that. So you're spot on. Everybody doesn't have to go through the traditional road to success. There's so many different ways, and we're educating our children on how to do that. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Just talked to Theron Johnson, of course, political strategist, and of course you, in the Stewart Foundation, you've registered thousands of voters, Hank, and you've helped reshape local, state, and national elections. Why do you do it?
So, Maria, I just had the third opportunity to drive around the state of Georgia and speak in every youth detention center in the state of Georgia. Savannah, Claxton, East McCall, we're down to Macon, up to Rome, Dalton, Gainesville, Marietta, Augusta, Wilkes, Millersville, Rockdale, DeKalb, Metro, Stonewall, Hampton, Columbus, Terrell, Sumter, Chris, Thomasville, Indian, and Waycross.
But did you go to Ludowici?
Yeah. And so for me, when you talk about the right to vote, Tyrone Brooks used to always say the most important right we have is the right to vote, and that's the one right that protects all of the rights. And so if you don't have the right to vote, and that's why people, when I hear people say it doesn't matter, or if your vote did not matter, why would they spend so much time trying to suppress it from you, right? And so it is so important that people understand that everything we do is legislated. The lights, the water, everything, PSC, Public Service Commissioner, everything we do, education. If you go and your school don't have brand new books, that's your school board. You should show up at your school board meetings, and if you don't understand that, then you're allowing somebody else to make your decisions for you. And so that's very important. And I just want to continue to educate our young people that you need to be engaged in this process, because it's affecting you. Legally, education-wise, entertainment-wise, everything that you do runs through voting. And so if we don't talk voting, then we're not. Jesse Jackson, I had the luxury of working for Jesse for 5 years, and Jesse used to say, we're genius. We live by our faith, but we live under the law. Yeah, your faith is what you live by.
Right.
But like Senator Warner say, put your shoes on and go and do some work. Now you gotta put that faith to work, and so you live under your faith, but it's the law. You live by your faith, but it's the law that you gotta make sure that you're current. And so my life is, when I look back, I can't tell you what has been the most, because it's been so many beautiful stages. Working for Jesse Jackson for 5 years with Janice Mathis, Helen Butler, working right next to Dr. Lowry's office with Helen, and then you think about performing for Michelle Obama and Rosa Parks, and the first poet to grace the main stage at the Essence Festival because of Ingrid Saunders Jones and Cicely Ingram, and just so many opportunities that I never had to knock on any door to solicit those roles. Somebody always came to me, and that was the beauty, is that God put me in the right places to do the right things, and so I'm held accountable to that.
Okay. Hank Stewart, July 26th, when we come to the Atlanta Marriott Marquis, what should we expect?
July 25th for the Marriott and the 26th for Antioch. You're going to expect an amazing fashion show with Brahma Leon. So come ready. The white carpets, you know, we got a VIP reception and then the white carpet, and then we got the honorees, and we got Antonio Allen performing, some other special guests. So you got to be there. You just got to be there. It's going to be an amazing. I know you will be there. So look forward to seeing you.
I got to make sure it's white.
Oh, it's this, and the color this year is white, black, or both. You can wear white, you can wear black, or you can do a combination of both.
You know, when I'm flipping through or I'm online, and I was, oh God, that would be great for white linen. Hope I make it this year. Yeah, I'll be there this year. Hank Stewart, it's always an honor and a pleasure. You have something to take us out of here?
When she walked into the room, there was something very special about her. Something really unique. Not the kind of special you see as strange or weird. You see, she has what we would call it. And her it is extraordinary. Her it's got us tripping, I must admit. What is it? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me suggest something, fellows. If you ever see it and it's available, do yourself a favor and make her your wife. Tribute to you. It.
You're a wonderful, special person.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, always an honor and a pleasure. World-renowned poet, Poet Laureate, Hank Stewart. My honor. Everyone, thank you for joining us for yet another edition of Atlanta Up Close. And of course, you know you can always listen to on the Odyssey app. I'm Maria Boynton.